The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What is going on, everybody? Hey, it's Saturday. I thought Friday was for the boys, but Saturday is where it's happening. Hey, I'm your host, the Appalachian American. We've got a lot to talk about tonight because it's been a wild, wild week. But here on this wonderful Saturday night of fun, we have the left-hand man himself, the author, David Applegate.
G'day, friends and fans. It's been a wild week, and even if you watched all the media, you still miss half the stories. There's some really wild stuff going on.
Joining us is the dad of the channel, Channel A. Brian Lake.
I'm missing bourbon to be here, so this better be damn good.
Y'all
better listen.
You're missing bourbon?
No, he's delaying it, bourbon. You think he's not going to have bourbon?
I was just wondering. I was like, dang, dude.
No, I've just got beer. I know. Up at when the hill closes in an hour, it's bourbon time.
Oh, so normally you'd be up on the mountain drinking bourbon, hanging out, having a good time.
Yes.
No,
when we close.
Well, thank you for skipping out so that you can come hang out with us.
Next
if
week.
you'd have told us that, we would have, considered that for all of 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because I didn't have internet yesterday.
No, we'd chuckle longer than 3 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't have internet. That was crazy. There's
the rain or
I don't know, man. I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't know. Our internet, like our power was out Wednesday night into Thursday, which was my birthday.
Yeah.
I turned 36, and we went out tonight celebrating with my family, mom, dad, grandparents, mother-in-law, and whatnot. So that was fun. Trying to think what else. I got a few toys for my birthday.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say Christmas. But I got a few Lightning Collection figures for my birthday. And that's about it. Had some fun, spent Valentine's Day with the family because we couldn't watch TV or do anything cool because the internet was out. And then we just hung out today. So
you guys get ice today? Someone was saying up your area was getting ice.
Lape, you're real muffled.
I am?
Yeah, it sounds like it's coming through the wrong mic.
I bet you it's switched when I plug the thing in.
Probably.
Dang it.
Yeah. You've always got to do.
It was the best time of my life, dude. You're an amazing company.
Do what?
You said you had nothing better to do, but at the wife asked, you had an amazing time.
Mm-hmm. I did have a good time. It was fun. I mean, we hung out and we had a Valentine's Day party where we had just hung out with the kids and taught them about Valentine's Day and stuff, and had little finger foods and it was fun. And then I fixed the tomahawk steak.
Yep,
like a man.
Hey man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound really good now.
Did you guys eat ice today is what I was asking.
Did I watch what?
Did you get ice? Someone was saying up your area had an ice storm today.
No, we had a terrible rainstorm.
Oh, okay.
Like parts of it was flooded.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We went up to Christiansburg to the Outback up there and ate dinner, and there was a few road closures between here and there.
Now, see, that's something we ever get David to the States. We need to take him to Outback so he can tell us how horrible it is and how non-Australian it really is.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what's weird? You know what's weird?
You have Outbacks in Australia.
Yeah. And we also have Texas steakhouses in Australia, and I think they're the only ones left too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What what kind of foods and stuff? I mean, is it the same type of foods? Texas,
Texas and Outback are pretty similar.
Well, yeah, they are. I mean, I don't know of really any differences of like, hey, this is the only thing you can get. But like McDonald's in certain countries, instead of fries, you get rice.
Yeah, that's mostly
like
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Hawaii,
Yeah.
Asian countries.
Hawaii's not a foreign country.
It's not what I mean, but I mean it's a different area.
Yeah.
Do you have the blooming onion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have. Do you have Jollibee in America? I think it's only in Hawaii.
There is a few. So I don't know. Kendo talks about it on the main show.
Yeah.
Time.
One of the biggest franchises in the world. That's not, and yet it has its smallest presence, I believe, is in the United States.
What's it called?
It's called
Jollibee?
Jollibee. It's actually Chinese, but it mostly operates outside of China throughout Asia.
Oh.
But it's had its ups and downs, like Yum Yum Foods and all these others. They're all actually part of conglomerates that they, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, and all these places. They own each other.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Was it? There was something with Pepsi and
Coke.
Burger. Well, the Pepsi. Was
Pepsi
it
and
Pepsi,
Burger
Burger King, KFC? Although I don't know if KFC is a part of it. It was like
Pizza Hut. Yeah, we're all part
Pizza
of
Hut. Yeah.
Huh.
But 6 conglomerates own 98% of fast food, and they own each other.
Yeah. Well, it's like BlackRock and Vanguard. They own parts of each other too.
Well, yeah, but guess who one of their largest shareholders is? Meryl Streep. The is it called Meryl Streep? It's got nothing to do with the actress, but it's the Merrill Lynch. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Wrong Meryl Streep.
Yeah, not Meryl Streep.
It's your Meryl's right.
You've got State Street and Merrill Lynch. And they own a lot of other people. They own a lot of each other, but a lot of outside. But they have very little outside ownership.
Right.
Like if you want to trace everything, it doesn't trace the Soros or the Rothschilds. It traces to a handful of what do we call them? Private trusts.
Yeah.
And they're all secret. So, but the Rothschilds are losing money left, right, and center. So the British royal family, they've lost billions since the 60s. Their wealth has been in massive decline.
Yeah. I was gonna look something up now. I don't freaking remember.
Huh.
That's why I brought a browser. I was like, I want to look something up, and I'm just.
Look, one thing I watched a recent video by a guy who said how to spot a psyop, and he basically says first thing you got to do is whenever you have the major networks all repeating the same story, look up contrarian networks and see what the stories aren't being missed.
Right.
And you find a lot of financial news is being missed, and particularly where. Does anybody remember the Rogue Trader incident with Nick Leeson?
No.
It sparked the global financial crisis.
Which one?
The financial crisis
the one
of the 90s.
Oh, in the 90s.
One that had both the Bush and the Obama bailouts. It lasted 3 years.
There's one 2007, 2008. That was the the
That was the
mortgage.
Bush bailouts, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
you had,
that was the mortgages that were, what are they?
yeah.
They took them and then they bundled them and then they were selling.
All
I mean,
of
they were just
those,
selling paper, essentially.
yeah, all of those are linked, okay?
Yeah.
All the central banks got together and they basically fueled what they thought was going to be the world's biggest growth. But the problem is that growth depended on people buying second and third homes,
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, mortgage-backed securities. That's what they were. Right. And then they
Yeah,
were bundling those. I mean, it was almost like you had the securities and you had like mutual funds of
yeah,
securities and mutual funds of mutual funds. It's like the house of cards just kept getting bigger.
yeah. But at the front end, you had the traders all being told to push speculation.
Oh yeah.
And this speculation involved a lot of big companies that are now defunct, right?
Yeah. Well, then they were pushing loans that people couldn't afford, and yeah,
Even Verizon, WorldCom, what's that
yeah.
the other big company that collapsed, the gas company that turned into an energy company in California that turned into a trading firm.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah, that was
Bush,
MCI. Yeah.
yeah, and there were a lot of connections, and but it wasn't just Bush. There was Clintons and 27 states had put money into it. India and China and Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Everybody was putting money into
Yeah.
betting on futures, and the problem is that they were betting that the demand. Usually if the demand exceeds supply, prices go up. That's what they're doing. They're artificially creating demand to cause
Right.
inflation.
Yeah.
And then they'd sell off the assets at a massively inflated price. Well, nobody's gone to jail for market manipulation or rogue trading except for one guy, and that was like Nick Neeson, and that was the Barings Bank collapse. But they were already collapsed. That's the thing that most people don't know. And he's now talking. He's now free of his, I suppose, what do you call it? His, post-release conditions when he was released from Germany.
Yeah.
His son, they put a gag order on him for 10 years or something. Well, his gag order's expired, and he's going to talk about how he lost $1 billion. But it was insider trading. It was everybody was in on it. He had the Bank of England giving him $400 million when the bank was only worth $250 million. And of course, it does involve the fact that a lot of these banks rely on aid money and distribute, because aid money is borrowed, right?
Mm-hmm.
USAID don't get money. They get an authorization and they go to a bank and the bank says, wow, I'm now authorized to receive this much money from the reserve. The reserve is authorized to print this much money. The bank decides how much of the reserve money they're going to borrow in order to back USAID and how much of their own depositors' money they're going to back USAID. And of course, along the way, half of that falls into George Soros's lap.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, I'm scrolling Twitter trying to find trending topics and stuff of what's going on. Oh. Apparently, Napoleon is trending because Trump said something of Napoleon.
Well, I think them.
What have I missed?
I haven't heard anything about it because all I heard was last night. They're suing New York.
Yeah, but apparently Trump came out and said, "He who saves his country does not violate any law."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's basically depends on your politics. Basically it means if you're a patriot, you're not violating the spirit of the law, right? There's a thing called the spirit of the law, and there's the word of the law. And he's basically saying he's in violation of neither because he's actually doing something positive, which means it's not a criminal act.
Okay.
It's like national security. National security says, oh, we do these evil things, but we give ourselves the air of respectability by creating the narrative of punching Nazis is good.
Nice. Okay.
But Trump is doing it in a different way by using say, well, I'm patriotic, therefore I can't be a lawbreaker. And that's sort of a bad narrative well, it's there to trigger liberals, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Get the news cycle going. Because he wants to focus on the recovery of billions of dollars that is going on,
Right.
And liberals, of course, are claiming that Elon Musk is a hoax, that the only person who stole billions of dollars was him. USA only buys food from farmers. There's none of this. And even if we did buy condoms for Africa, it was to stop the spread of AIDS, And he's saying, yeah, but it's an awful lot of condoms, and who authorized such a large payment? Can you justify this? None of them can actually justify the programs because they can't actually point to outcomes. They can't actually point to and say, yes, 50 million was spent on condoms and shipping them to Africa. No. Most of this money, like I said, was being drawn from banks. It's creating more debt, and it's not going to it's going to a handful of rich Americans or rich people around the world. It's not actually going to charity. It's just going into these phony virtue signaling PR firms. And they take that money and invest in speculative markets, But until you outlaw these markets where people pretty much are just basically playing roulette, actually, according to some.
Let's see what I'm trying to look at what all he's been posting, what Trump's been posting, because I want to make sure that we,
get it right. Yes.
I was trying to find why that's so trending, why people are talking about it.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you want to quote Napoleon? I mean, when France was that the French Revolution? I mean, no, he wasn't no Hitler, right?
Napoleon did betray the French Revolution and declared himself Emperor of France. And that's
nice.
That's why they're comparing it to Trump to Napoleon. And of course, as people know, Napoleon attacked Russia. So can't call Trump a Napoleon if he's and a friend of Russia in one breath, But then again, the only standard liberals have.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there's a lot of stories that people are missing about the disappearing money, and the fact is, most of it was wasted on
what disappearing money? What are you talking about?
Disappearing money, the 150-year-olds who are registered in Illinois getting Social Security checks.
Oh, I didn't know we were talking about that.
No, sorry. But Napoleon, I'm not sure if they were talking about what they're talking about, because I think they actually might be referring to his use of executive orders.
Oh, okay. Trump is quoting Napoleon, a man who transformed his republic into an empire.
Yeah. And that's what they're saying. Yeah, Trump is.
I had a friend of mine the other day that we were talking about stuff in the truck heading down the road, and he was feeling that isn't the things that Trump is doing kind of what Hitler did when he was rising to power in Germany?
No.
And my buddy would be more of a libertarian. He's very anti large government.
Yeah.
And
so he would be against executive orders.
Yeah.
No, but what they're doing with Doge and Musk is the opposite of what Hitler did. Hitler expanded the government.
When Hitler came to power, Hitler created departments within departments to make sure that ideology was the forefront of every department.
Gotcha.
Right. Essentially, DEI is closer to Hitler than what Trump's doing.
Yeah,
Like a reverse DEI of only making what you want be.
Well, that was the whole thing with the political
that's the
correctness
problem
and
with the
DEI.
DEI.
That was the propaganda at all costs, right? The ideology at all costs. Hitler expanded governmental interference into everything, government ownership and stuff. And Trump's trying to get, and Musk, they're trying to get all of it out, right?
Yeah.
We don't need these wasteful departments that are spending money overseas. And granted, a lot of this bull crap, $50 million for condoms or whatever. I saw a guy on Joe Rogan. It's like, show me the bill of sale. Show me the invoice that says we bought these and shipped them wherever they were supposedly.
Well, that's what Joe Rogan was saying. There's no, these programs have no paperwork. They're just empty offices. Who's really in charge of the programs? And he was saying that as soon as they found out the judge's wife was involved in one of these programs and a recipient, the same judge who took out orders against Trump, what did the media do? They changed the story to something else.
Well, and then one of them, his daughter was working for one of these, so.
They always change this. When you catch out Anderson Cooper, you notice it'll pivot straight to a new story.
They're paying, for instance, this judge's daughter. They're paying her money, and I guess she's giving the money to her dad.
She's paid. Okay, she's paid as a fundraiser, and she leases legal. She leases a legal office in which her father also gives advice to.
Okay, so she's paying him for the advice.
He's paying. She's paying the office, but he just happens to get the money.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what liberals.
It's all a money laundering scam, right?
Right.
And then they'll make contributions to the DNC, and so this money becomes
like donations to Exclude. Yeah, 20% goes to the fundraising platform.
Yeah,
individual fundraising.
It all changes hands multiple times. Everybody gets their little piece.
Yeah, and then Blue takes that big chunk, and then they give it to a whole bunch of NGOs who then make individual contributions.
Yeah,
often through once-used credit cards,
or claim that people make them, and then they've with Blue, they've even gone. They talked to people, said, "You realize you donated $10,000 to so and so's campaign, and they don't even know who so and so is, and they've never made a donation to anybody."
Yeah,
I barely got $200 to pay for groceries. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I've seen those ones too, but I'm saying at some level, I'm not saying that individuals aren't making them. I'm saying organizations are taking this money out of Blue into NGOs, and NGOs are paying themselves $400,000-$500,000. And what they'll do is and this has been proven in California, and the state even threw the case out. They gave one guy $1 million, right? And he went to Blue and got another $1 million. And then he went to BLM and got $1 million. And then he went to a couple of other organizations and got $1 million. Yeah. And then he bought this place, decked it all out, and then got sued by the state for violating the building code or whatever. And the whole thing got shut down and bankruptcy. They wiped it, right? But only $1 million was spent. Nobody ever investigated where the other 9 or so million went.
Of course.
And apparently this is so common in California where these organizations last 9 months, basically, and they shut down and there's no audit and there's no records. There's no, because they didn't meet the threshold of tax filing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all this, with all the money that we've been saving, I heard that there was a place that you can go to see what was being recovered.
Those reports, yes, those reports.
Doge report.
But all of these Doge reports, I think, are actually being tweeted. They're not complete. There is going to be a Doge report to Congress, and they're going to decide what, I suppose, hearings are held. But they've already had some of this money clawed back because they had so much of this money just sitting in accounts allocated to these empty organizations. Haven't got around to spending it yet. But others, the savings come in the future because you're not paying DEI for the next 4 years for Berkeley University, and some universities have shut down the departments.
So in order to find out the reports, I have to go on X and look up Doge reports.
At Doge.
At Doge? Okay.
Yeah. And,
Right,
and then you have to look through their reports because they basically they can't report everything and they can't give you proof because that proof is, like actual classified documents, right? They only,
Right.
Yeah.
And all these liberals asking for proof forget one absolute thing. Have you ever seen a news report show you any evidence? Once? Ever?
Yeah.
They accused Nixon for decades about being a crook. Did they ever produce evidence?
Oh wow. Here's a list. This was yesterday?
Yeah.
No, today. It was a list of U.S. taxpayer dollars were going to be spent on the following items, all of which have been canceled. Here, let me share screen. Nope. Hit the wrong button. Hold on.
Whoop.
Hold that thought. Share. All right. So, $10 million for Mozambique.
Mozambique.
What is that?
Yeah.
It's
Medical
a
mail.
country in Africa.
Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcision. 9.7 for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodia youth with enterprise-driven skills. 2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. I mean, dude, 32 million for the Prague Civil Society Center.
And whenever you hit the word civil and society, that's George Soros.
Czech Republic. Prague is in the capital, Czech Republic.
40 million for Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Hub. 14 million for improving public procurement in Siberia. 486 million for the consortium of elections and political processes.
That sounds like a coup.
Yeah.
Strengthening, including 22 million for inclusive and participatory.
I gotta go full screen to read this.
Oh, sorry.
Participatory. In Moldavia?
Or political process in Moldavia.
India? Sounds like a coup to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like election rigging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
29 million in strengthening political landscape in Bangladesh.
Strengthening.
20 million for federalism in Nepal. 19 million.
Now, see, that's going against China. That's a thing against China because they control Nepal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, China controls Nepal and they're basically trying to buy it back.
19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal.
Yeah.
1.5.
Mm-hmm.
1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia.
Yeah, Liberia is like another African country that's constantly in turmoil, and civil war. So that's why, the voter confidence that is buying off various warlords,
faction leaders, warlords.
14 million for social cohesion in Mali. Oh, Mali. Sorry,
that's in the near
social cohesion. That's another shithole.
That's an Asian. That's right. That's oceanic, right? That's an oceanic.
Yeah, Mali's an oceanic shithole, but it's still a shithole.
2.5 for inclusive
democracies
in South Africa,
Southern Africa. So I wonder if that's what's
democracies in Africa?
What's the country right above South Africa? Or these just further up? Well,
Angola. There's Angola on the west.
These are all basically bribes, kickbacks, coup attempts.
Yeah, 47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia.
Yeah,
increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities of Kosovo, Roma, Ashkali, and Egypt. Well, Kosovo is in Eastern Europe.
No, these are the Romy. Actually, this is the Romy community, and they're active in Kosovo, Roma, Ashavali, in Egypt. Yeah. That's how far they run. And they got kicked out of Spain because
those are
to
they're one of the
Romy. They're
groups,
linked,
right?
yes, but they call them Romy now, and they're linked to certain island boy activities.
We will win. We will win. We are here to fight back. We will win. We will win.
Our privacy has been taken up by Elon Musk.
Privacy.
Don't know what all they have on us.
What you want, Toby? I may have to let one of the dogs out again.
You just remember, it is the Department of Government Evil.
That's funny.
That's Elon Musk like 15 pounds ago.
Yeah, Elon Musk is not a threat to democracy. He's a threat to bureaucracy.
Exactly.
Yes, dude. Facts. Right there. I like that one. It's been 3 weeks and Doge is already out of control.
Laundering. Yeah, this is in the bunker. See, now this is actually accurate.
This is accurate.
Yeah, because this is who the Democrats are. You got to remember, these were National Socialists. Nazis are National Socialists. They are not right wing. They are far leftist.
No,
they're to the right of the pure socialists.
Yes. That's where the right-wing part comes from, is that the party split into two factions.
But they're not right-wing as in conservative. They're all far on the left side. It's just way out there are the communists. To their right are the socialists, and to their right are the National Socialists.
You've got the socialists, the National Socialists, and the communists. And they all went to war against each other. And after World War II, everybody got so... After World War II, all the other groups got together and said, we're going to blame everything on the Nazis and we're going to demonize them for all eternity and blame them for every genocide and everything.
Because they lost.
Exactly.
Because they lost the war.
So somebody commented and said that's about 700 million. That would have been enough to give every American 3 million. Liberal math if you guys don't get the joke.
Yeah.
That would be $3 trillion. Yeah. 700. Yeah.
No, but as
there's
Elon
2 commas
says,
involved there.
Yeah.
Saving isn't just today. It's every year these programs are not enacted, is money that isn't borrowed, is organizations that are not funding coups and revolutions around the world, which it's the flow-on effect. All these coups and revolutions are destroying the world economy.
Yep.
I gotta let some dogs out. Sorry.
Yeah.
I let them out an hour and a half ago. Thought they were good, but they're visiting. Keep talking. I'll be back.
Okay. So.
Okay. Yesterday, we had Tulsi and RFK confirmed.
It's about time.
And RFK announced that he's doing a mandatory vaccine test on all vaccines, a safety and efficacy test. And basically, they don't meet the minimum standards, and he's actually looking at raising the standards and basically wants all the information out there on Fauci and all these other programs. But first, the safety was the biggest thing, was the safety tests, which he says should have been done. This is what they've been. And now they're pissed because this is what he's been suing the department to do. Give us the tests. That's why they've been trying to delay him.
Yeah.
So what if he... So what if he doesn't, had to drop partnership in lawsuits, whatever, because they knew he was funding them, hoping they'd go away. But he could do exactly the same thing as the lawsuits, as the boss. They forget that. Don't need the lawsuits if the person's in there getting all these vaccines exposed for what they are.
Right. So I mean, this list I just read off, is that everything so far, or has there been
That's the
more?
major.
Majors.
There's a lot of minor programs like Social Security where there's people who haven't been checked if they're dead, rolls haven't been updated, multiple checks going to the same location without investigation, no cross-checking of Social Security numbers, and in a lot of cases, Social Security numbers weren't even checked. He's talking about a lot of it is inefficiency, where you have huge amounts of oversight, but nobody actually doing any oversight. They're just rubber stamping each other's programs, which is why a lot of inspector generals were fired.
Right.
Because they asked, do you know what this program is? Do you know why you approved it? Bye. But they did find a lot of this money just sitting in accounts. In the first couple of days, a lot of it was running up money in accounts that Obama and Biden and all these other tin pot dictators, really, for the last 70 years have been dropping around the world. You know, the US has millions of bank accounts. And a lot of these government programs are funded, you know, just by topping up these bank accounts. And by clawing back and shutting down these programs, it's not just the money that's been allocated, it's bringing back all that money that's sitting there. But one place that's been a big black hole is China. And that's one thing that's not been reported on. Most of Chinese so-called miracle growth, 99% of that came from US spending. Government contracts, contractors, construction firms, most of them hired Chinese workers, millions of dollars flowing to China at US rates, by the way, and the workers weren't even getting paid. The Chinese state kept it all. Effectively, you had bridges built, all these bridges that are collapsing, they were built by once-off Chinese firms, you know.
Yeah. Sorry. Somebody posted that Adam Sandler introduces Nirvana surviving members with Post Malone to perform "Smells Like Teen Spirit" at SNL's 50th anniversary concert.
That's odd.
It's freaking awesome. Like he does a really good job. There's Dave Grohl's playing drums. The other two dudes are on guitar and bass, and then Post Malone came out with a lit cigarette and played just like Kurt Cobain would. Mm-hmm. I just shared it on X. It's actually really good. Sorry, it had my attention because it was cool. Yeah. I was looking up. There was the RFK speech the other day in the Oval Office where he kicked off the Maha Coalition, where he's really looking at going after USD reform and USDA reform and like you said, something about the vaccine.
Yeah. The other one, yes. Food safety, vaccine safety are the two biggest issues that have them panicking right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because it goes beyond the United States. It has far-reaching effects around the world because a lot of these countries depend on the fact that they can sell the US cheap food and have it funneled through Mexico uninspected.
Yeah. Well, there's an app that I think is incredible. It's called Yuka, Yuka. Talking about foods. You can scan your food. You can download it to your smartphone, Apple or Android. Pardon me. It's called Yuka, Yuka. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I would because I use this almost every day. But you can scan items like this. This, for instance, is Honey Nut cereal, Honey Nut Cheerios, and it tells you that it's rated an 8 out of 100. It's bad. It contains 7 additives. The sugars is 32 grams. Calories.
Heard of this?
Huh?
Anything under 20? Yeah, I heard of this.
Yeah,
I reckon that anything rated under 20 isn't food.
Right. So this goes through and tells you like your sodium, calorie, sugar, additives, fiber, protein, and then when you scroll down on it, it'll give you healthier options, and that's all for free. Like you could get a paid version of it where you can like actively search out stuff. The free version allows you to scan what you have. So I've been using this, gosh, probably about a year now, and it is insane the amount of stuff that's in your food.
Yeah. We're not just talking about preservatives. We're also talking about coloring and also flavoring, okay? A lot of your foods are artificially flavored, which is why you go, why doesn't this taste like people who haven't had a real carrots and they buy these strained vegetables and wonder why their kids are hypertense and whatever, and then they eat it and it's nothing like a carrot, and it's not even, and then you find out it only may contain carrots, and it's like, what? Who puts may only contain food on food?
Yeah, and you can you can scan cosmetics. Like a lot of stuff is bad for your skin.
Oh, look, we had campaigns in Australia against cosmetics, and they lose every time. But there have been so many studies that link cosmetics to cancer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, for real. Just out of curiosity, in Australia, could you download this app?
I was about to check because some of these apps are geo-locked.
I was curious about that because you could, use this the next time you go to the grocery store and look at some of the foods you get. And I will tell you, it'll change your mind on certain things because you can find some gnarly stuff.
Okay. You got food and cosmetics scanner, in-app purchases.
It looks it's got like a little carrot on the emblem, the logo.
I got it.
Oh, cool! You can get it. Sweet. I use this all the time because and I will say this: I understand watching your calories, I understand watching sodium levels, and I understand watching sugars. However, I mainly use this tool to search for additives, dyes, and things that are going to hurt me in the long run. I understand sugar is probably going to hurt me in the long run, but
it's hard to avoid.
Yeah, I can take a risk on certain foods as long as there's no dyes or artificial stuff that's going to give me cancer.
Yeah. And we do know now, right? And we've actually been told now that they've known for 40 years that most cancer is caused by virus.
Right.
Right. There's 3 types of cancer. There's cancer caused by virus, there's cancer caused by radiation, and there's cancer caused by toxic chemicals. So there's no cure for cancer because you can't immunize against cancer. All you can do is immunize against the cancer caused by virus. Okay, you can't immunize against cancer caused by radiation or cancer caused by toxic chemicals. Now, RFK is going after the toxic chemicals. We can't do much about the cancer by radiation yet because radiation absorbing materials are just as toxic, are still pretty much like as toxic as the cancer itself. You're not going to absorb the radiation and go, I'm going to wear radiation absorbing clothes because they'll kill you. But as soon as if Elon Musk comes up with radiation absorbing clothes, he'd be a trillionaire.
Oh yeah, sure. But I mean, the foods and stuff you eat play a crucial role on how your body is.
Yeah, that's where you get the cancer by chemicals from.
My wife had a brownie today, and just a brownie, and with the rain and the sugar, her body was hurting. The inflammation in her neck and back. Sugar is a gigantic player in hurt and pain, inflammation. So we're not doctors, we're not giving medical advice, but if you suffer from really bad inflammation, like painful joints, stuff like that, stay away from sugar.
We're just giving you tools as part of your individual research.
Yeah, but I use it. I mean, here, this is on my phone. I don't know if you can. I mean, I've scanned all kinds of stuff. Every time I go to the grocery store, I mean, I use this. I use this thing like all the time. Deodorants. I was trying to find good deodorants that were aluminum free and good for you. Sauces. You'd be surprised on what your body, doesn't like.
You'd be surprised. Yeah. I give credit where credit is due. A lot of people, left and right, have been for years talking about food safety. The problem is the left stopped talking when it became a political issue.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't. I mean, the left keeps saying, "Oh, right-wing people don't care. They don't pass laws to save children from school shooters."
All right. So this is. I have a. I love this hot wing sauce. It's good on lunch. I carry a bottle with me in my lunchbox. I know you can't read this, but I'm going to tell you what it says. So it tells me that it's a poor choice. But the reason why it's a poor choice is because it's 100 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah.
It's got one limited risk additive, which it'll tell you xanthium gum, a texturing agent, but it is a limited risk.
Yes.
0 calories, 0 saturated fat, 0 sugar. And it gives me alternate recommendations. That's cool and all. I'm still going to use this product because it's sodium. Like, I don't eat a lot of sodium anyway. I don't eat a lot of salty foods. I don't over salt my food. So a touch of sodium on a sauce that I use just a squirt is not going to kill me.
And if you start to get inflammations, you're probably not going to use it.
Yeah.
So, like I know people with sodium problems, because you can go from being hypersensitive to sodium deficient so quickly because you can't cut sodium out 100%.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? So if you're sodium sensitive, you're not cutting out sodium, you're measuring it. And 100 grams, yeah, sure. I think anybody who's sodium sensitive ain't going to be touching that product. But on the other hand, it's telling you the alternatives. So there's always that information.
Yep. So it's it's nice. So,
and ultimately it comes down to the fact that for the last 40 years at least, you've had fast food and various other organizations given exemptions on inspections and sodium limits. So all these people who say what I was saying before about how the left keeps bleating about how Republicans don't care about school shootings. Well, you want school lunch programs. Yet if you watch Jamie Oliver, he did a huge expose on these so-called free school lunch programs. Not only are you paying 270% for food, half of it doesn't qualify as food, and the other half is so salted.
Tabasco sauce is rated a 72 out of 100. So it's really good. There's 0 additives. It's excellent quality, natural. 0 calories. It does have 35 milligrams of sodium, but other than that, everything's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of products out there, however. I mean, you'd be surprised how much organic food is high in salt.
Oh, yeah.
Because salt is naturally occurring, and that's the problem.
Here's a list of ice creams. Smoothie Pops, dragon fruit.
A lot of your snack foods, like ice creams, are more like plastic than food. Yeah.
Oh, I was watching a video where a guy took one of the drumsticks that you can get, like the little ice cream drumsticks, melted it, and it was still had textured, like it was soft, but it wasn't like runny like real ice cream would be. No, ice cream turns into a liquid. This stuff did not turn into a liquid.
A lot of them are what you call chemically an amalgam. That is, they are not chemically bonded. They are mixtures of gum and hey.
Yes, we are.
We are.
I literally just
I forget
had
the three chemicals, but you've got gum, salt, and something else, and they're just all mixed with flavoring and vanilla dye. And it's not even real vanilla. It's just they call it vanilla dye, but it's a white dye. It's got nothing to do with vanilla. It's a
yeah.
I forget the name for it, but it's a
over the
man-made
last
chemical.
Over the last like 2 years, we've really been paying attention to what we put in our bodies. It's slowly helped the weight come off. Not eating a bunch of crap. I mean, we still splurge every once in a while, but you know who doesn't? But yeah, I mean, it's oh yeah, seed oils are super bad too.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, and I don't know who said it first, but they said in the 60s, they did all these big studies. And unfortunately, a lot of these studies were done by universities. And the people who did these studies went on to work for the FDA and the very food companies that are meant to be investigating. And instead of using their knowledge to make people healthier, they made people sicker so that Big Pharma would then come along and pay them kickbacks for, you know, and it's been a industrial complex. I think it was RFK, but I'm not sure. And he was saying how these people are making hundreds of millions of dollars off their portfolios because the profits are obscene with some of these weight loss products.
Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff that's advertised as diet or things for diets, like these healthy snacks that you can get that are healthy for you, man, if you really look into them, there's so many food dyes in them that's crazy.
And they're not FDA approved. They're not scientifically backed. They're all covered by an opinion that just basically dates back to a court ruling back. I don't know when it was, but it just basically had a constitutional ruling that you have the right to lie, and if you're caught, you can tell a lie. And if you're caught in a lie, even then, you have to prove malice before you can sue for damages. You have to prove damages and intent, and in some cases, intentional damage. So as long as they never, which if the lawsuits for big tobacco would have never happened or never gotten away with if the government did not basically do a deal in which they would walk away with all their other companies intact. Now, basically they said,
David, you're absolutely correct. Food is not food any longer.
Food.
Big food, big pharma working hand in hand to make themselves lots of money. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big food creates the problem. Big pharma profits off the problem. They create the weight problem.
Fixes the problem.
And then fixes it. Yeah. They sell you the solution. But they also, that's what I'm saying about these big conglomerates like BlackRock. They don't only own the food companies, they own the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. It's nuts. Back to Doge. Doge put out a nice poem on Valentine's Day. Yeah. Roses are red, violets are blue. Today, Doge and 10 agencies made 586 wasteful contracts bid adieu.
Oh,
with a ceiling value of 2.1 billion and 445 million in savings secured, a perfect Valentine's gift for taxpayers, well earned and deserved. Today's batch includes 8.2 million USDA contracts for environmental compliance services for the implementation of pilot projects developed under the Partnership for Climate Smart Commodities.
Yeah, it's the same with climate change. They spend decades creating the narrative of climate change, and now what do? Fund our solutions.
Yeah.
All these college kids funded our solutions, these big NGOs. What do? Well, we study climate change. Did you do anything? We study climate change for 6 months of the year. We study the effects of ice melting in Serbia. Really? Do you really? These are just paid holidays for very slick conmen. That's what climate change is, very slick conmen. You have people so emotionally invested in it because, and again, this goes back to this guy who does a channel on psyops. He's basically saying that the first thing they do is they constantly repeat, like every day you have constant repetition. They always work in. And if you look at all these psyops and how they worked in all these things in the pop culture, particularly climate change and working slogans into everything as well. You go back to George Orwell warning us that, against, slogans. It's always the young. They fall for slogans, particularly young women. And that's what it's about. They constantly bombard you with slogans. You look at They Live, it's another prime example of the minority seem to have a natural ability to see through a psyop, but they can't always explain it. Where They Live gives you some artificial means to look through, and see the psyop as, one of three things: obey, consume, or what was the third one in They Live? There was obey, there was consume, and something else. There were only three sides in subliminal messaging.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'll look that up.
Yeah, I was going to look that up too. It's a movie about subliminal messaging that holds true today.
Okay, I've got the movie clip. Let me look at it.
Yeah.
All right, you've got obey.
You got consume. I want to say it was believe.
It might be. I've got Roddy Piper's putting on the glasses. Hold on. He's
looking around.
Marry and reproduce.
Okay, it was produce. Yeah, okay, it was okay. The three messages were reproduce, obey, and consume. Yeah.
No independent thought. Yeah, go pay. Oh, there it is. It's on the street. You've got work 8 hours, sleep 8 hours, play 8 hours, conform, stay asleep, consume, obey, watch TV, buy, submit, sleep, no thought.
Yeah.
But basically, obey, consume, and reproduce would pretty much cover it, or believe.
Yeah, I'm talking about the three base messages that that form the categories. There were three categories that were basically put there. Now, I don't know why they focused on produce or reproduce.
The more the older I get, the more I can relate to Clint Eastwood's face. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. What else has happened this week?
A bunch of stuff that people ignore.
The NFL admitted to canceling some of Elon's commercial Super Bowl ads.
Yes.
What happened with that?
Remember when he promised 5 Super Bowl ads and they canceled?
I noticed. I didn't
them.
see very many.
No, they canceled them. They said they were too political, too controversial.
It was too much a controversy.
Did they take his money there?
No, under the law they can't. They'd have to refund him.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, Trump has been challenged on his transgender thing about trans in the military. 20 attorney generals are suing him there. Parent politics, executive order analysis. big breakdown, 12 hours long. Basically, he's had a very busy week. COVID order, vaccine mandates overturned. Marco Rubio meeting with Ukraine. Foreign Minister Pete in Munich told NATO to suck it up, that they're not having that the US is not backing NATO membership for Ukraine at this point, and that the war is over. Get used to that. And apparently the French went apeshit over that. Federal employees and multiple agencies are going to be fired and or closed. Some agencies are going to be basically, he's talked about redundant agencies, but basically, there's only going to be one Office of Inspector General, not 12 or something like that.
What's up, Tommy? How you doing, buddy?
Actually have a list of executive orders. And let's see how many are on this list.
So I changed jobs in October. I know I've told you guys this. And I really haven't had a chance to watch Alex Jones much. I need to talk right.
Right.
I saw him the other day on some kind of ad, and it had been several months. That dude looks incredibly different. He's lost a lot of weight.
He's lost like 60 pounds, I think.
Holy hot dog.
He's aged a bit, yeah. Okay, Executive Order 62, ending procurement and forced use of paper straws. 63, pausing foreign corruption practices act enforcement for further national economic security. The reason for this is government efficiency and optimization. That's 64. And 65, the whole reason for shutting down these different organizations is there's only really one foreign relations, not these different executives. Because you have all the way back to the special executive, which I think was the 30s, wasn't it? Or the 20s, special executive in the State Department.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But basically, there's only going to be one voice for American foreign relations in the State Department. One official basically speaks for American foreign policy other than the president.
Right. Hold on.
The next one believed to be coming out soon is the Make Healthy America Again Commission, the National Energy Council, and the education reform, which starts with ending COVID vaccine mandates. So it's 68 in all as of today. There have been gaps in them, and yeah, some of them was got people upset, like the ending of indoctrination programs, celebrating America's birthday, ending chemical and surgical mutilation. The Hyde Amendment. Now, what's the Hyde Amendment?
I don't know.
Two key orders. Hyde Amendment. The use of Hyde Amendment bars the use of federal funds to pay for abortions, except if proven to save the life of a woman. So, yeah, that's rather. The problem is you can't. The left are zealots. They always, when you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Give them 6 weeks, they turn it into, abortion up until birth. And then when they get that into states, they start saying, let's talk about post-birth abortion. And it's like, that's infanticide. But again, when you're dealing with fanatics, they just can't be told. They always want more. Every time they win, they always want more. which is what Nixon said, that America's greatest mistake was giving in to protesters in the 60s. And he was right. They weren't the majority. They weren't the popular opinion of the day. Yet the vast majority did not turn out. And so Nixon was almost impeached on pretty much what turned out to be lies or rumors, unsubstantiated claims. People wanted to know the truth, and they just wouldn't accept it because it wasn't confirming their bias.
So apparently, speaking of Doge, Fort Knox is on the list to be audited.
Yes, because over the years, bars of gold have been sold without notification to the public. Stockpiles. I've read recently that a lot of these stockpiles are also just changing hands, that nobody actually knows how much gold there is, who has it, because it's all different departments and different, secrecy acts, which forbid the publication of information. So it's created this air of distrust and conspiracy that whenever governments start keeping secrets that people don't think is necessarily a secret. I mean, how much gold do we own? Can't tell you that. Why? It's a secret. Why is it a secret?
Yeah, why?
I think was originally made a secret because gold is a speculative commodity, and if the US announces they're going to sell gold, that changes the price of gold, and speculators would basically not be speculating on the market, but actually, placing a sure win. See, this is the people don't understand about the stock market. Is the stock market's not there to win. The stock market's there to cheat people out of their fortunes, so that that's why stockbrokers don't buy stocks; they sell stocks.
Do you think there's any gold in in Fort Knox?
Yes, and but a lot of it isn't owned by the US. The US is paid to keep it there.
Well, I was just wondering because a lot of people are saying that it was stolen back in the 70s and moved to the Vatican. I don't know if there's any truth to that.
I've never heard that one. I've heard that they've sold it and that it's empty.
I heard they sold it, but no. They sold a lot of gold, yes, in the 70s. That's why they went after Nixon, because he sold gold. And later gold hit the roof because of a huge demand for gold. Because, as you know, the 70s we're starting to see a huge tech boom, and one of the biggest things in tech is gold.
Yeah, gold and silver. I mean, it's pretty much a
staple of almost all technology.
Yeah,
is a conductor, some form.
It's just a raw material.
Yeah. And it's not just gold that's stockpiled unnecessarily. It's a lot of raw materials that are stockpiled unnecessarily, merely to drive the price up.
Yeah.
It doesn't look to be super duper fortified from the pictures.
No, because it's actually only one of three there's three depositories, not just Fort Knox.
Oh, okay.
There's the depository in the Reserve Federal Bank,
New York,
and in New York and in Washington. There's two federal depositories and the Fort Knox depository. But there's also private companies which hold almost as much gold again. And then there's the various coins and other materials. And jewelry, which probably, out of 6,500 tons of audited gold or whatever, most of it is in technology. The amount of gold in jewelry has been declining and decreasing.
Yeah.
I would like to know how much is in a lot of old computers that are probably in landfills somewhere.
Oh, a lot of those have been dug up, yeah. There's a company that specializes in that. But they're saying it's a small amount. Most of it, however, the biggest one right now is what they call sludge gold. all the runoff from all the old gold mines, because they processed it with cyanates, and basically what they're doing now is using electro separation, because a lot of that sludge still has gold in it. They just can't separate it.
Right.
And there's a new company that actually believed to have been started in the 60s and got shut down by a act of terrorism when its initial plant got blown up, and its insurance company wouldn't cover its insurance.
Oh, dang.
So they've been started back up again. Yeah.
What was that?
There was a big scandal in, I think it was 65. A Russian engineer defected, and he allegedly created a process of separating gold from cyanates, because a lot of the gold processing was very inefficient and only recovered half the gold. The other half was stuck in the cyanate solution with no way of separating it. Electroplating wouldn't work because the solution wasn't very viable at the time and highly acidic and toxic. So they sealed all these cyanates in drums and basically buried them all across California. Well, the company was starting to process all this, and they got blown up. And then all of a sudden, the gold speculation market hit, and the price of gold went through the roof. Allegedly, Onassis and others dumped 110 tons of Nazi gold on the market, made a fortune, and then when the market bottomed out, and the gold was for a long time, just silently building up again in the background. But a lot of countries have moved away from the gold standard, so nobody was interested in mass processing any gold, just simply to stockpile it when there was enough gold in circulation, because all these countries were dumping their gold reserves. But now that gold is in such demand again, they are returning to this separation of cyanates. Mainly because these drums are leaking and the EPA doesn't want to pay out millions in fines, because I think they're the ones who are stockpiling it in these underground storages, or the government is. But speaking of underground storage, did you see the photos the other day of how big the underground storage is under Washington? Just for the bureaucracy, for the paperwork. They have an entire city under Washington full of full of paperwork.
Where can we see this at?
Washington Underground, it's called. I forget which newspaper published it, but
Washington Underground City.
Yeah, I think it was called City or Archives. Might be Archives.
Aren't some of them in a cave or something too?
Yeah, there's huge archives. Behind the scenes, Washington Underground Archives. There's Washington State and Washington DC archives. Every state has archives too. These are huge underground. Yeah. Virginia, I think, is in caves too.
I had figured so much because they had to move people, they'd have to move people in and out.
Yeah, but they reckon. Cool. Yeah, the archives are so big they have people on scooters going around.
Oh wow!
Yeah, these archives they date back like already to the 40s and 50s. They say some of the archives are actually, some of the archive buildings are just merely administration centers or one big elevator. Everybody just shafts of elevators.
So apparently, Chris Pavlowski made a post on the 14th. Now that Tether is officially one of the largest shareholders of Rumble, it's time to get very aggressive with Rumble ecosystem versus Google. They're talking about introducing the Rumble wallet, Rumble AI, Rumble Mail, Rumble Storage, User Storage, and Rumble Calendar.
What's Tether?
I'm guessing it's investment.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. Tether, Rumble. And do I get anything? Oh. Tether made a $775 million investment in Rumble.
Wow.
Who are they though? They bought stocks in the main company. Tether is a stock/tech company. Okay, it seems to be their investments. Yeah, their investment. They seem to be an investment company that focuses on technology. And it's a huge stock buyout of over 100 million shares at $7.50 per share. And are going to increase the revenue and what do you call it? The ad sharing and trying to bring up more advertising for Rumble as well. Well, once upon a time, Rumble would basically go through X and retweet people, and and a lot of people got views out of that. But then they suddenly stopped. Rumble also lost a lot of advertisers, so they stopped. They stopped expand. And then and of course now they've got a few channels that get tens of thousands of views. They stopped putting people at random on the front page and only put those channels on the front page.
Yeah. They all seem to do that eventually.
Yeah, focus on the few because that brings in the majority of the revenue.
Yeah.
And then everybody else dies, and then they go, "Ooh, why is nobody on the platform?" Yeah. The problem is people, trying to convince people to stop hurting is ridiculous because when all these alternative channels, when they become big, they stop talking about being alternative channels and start saying, only I have the news. And it's like, man, you sound just like CBS.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that, though, how a lot of these alternative news channels are now pretty much like we're the only source of the news? And it's like, you sound like CBS. Yeah. And they went from
only my opinion counts.
Yeah. And they went from wearing T-shirts and caps to wearing suits and doing 3-hour lectures on why Obamacare was no good, and they repeat it ad nauseum. Like there's 20 videos,
Right.
day after day, the same thing, just feeding the audience daily gruel of rage bait.
Yep.
Yeah, only our opinion counts. You can't trust other people. They're bought and paid for by the mainstream media.
Well, there was one guy I used to listen to his stuff, and it was Max something. He's from Australia, actually. And I left a negative comment on one of his videos on BitChute. And the guy tried to rip me a new one. I'm like, how could dare you come on my channel? I'm like, oh, so you're telling me you can't take a disagreeable voice? I disagree with you on one thing, and it's the end of the freaking world. Well, I'm not listening to you ever again.
Yeah, I get a lot of people are saying you're bought and paid for by the who's, the big nose mob,
by the Apple Juice Clan.
Yeah.
The Orange Juice Clan, the Juicers.
Yeah.
The Juicy Juices. The Juicers and
I'm
Funny
trying
Hats.
to tell them. Yeah, all I'm doing is like trying to tell people, there are multiple factions out there, and by only focusing on one faction, you're empowering all the others.
Yeah. I've even more than once left comments like, hey, I see you bought the propaganda.
Yeah.
So while you always think it's one group, it's probably not.
All the others, yeah. It's like, do you realize that DEI was funded by Saudi Arabia and China, and everything they produce is illegal in their countries?
Right. On purpose?
Yeah.
Well, it's like TikTok in China versus TikTok in the US.
90% of TikTok isn't allowed in China.
On purpose.
Yes. And it's produced by Chinese. Yeah, again, on purpose. Sorry, man. What are you showing us here?
Jay's meme out. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's kind of funny if it is. Robert Kennedy.
Homosexual was the phrase.
Easy to see how she ungayed you.
Yeah. Hey-oh! Shots fired.
And the Hodge twins said they posted it. Oh, it was something Kylie Cheung, the new Secretary of Health and Human Services, LOL.
She definitely serves my human.
Well,
I think when it comes to conspiracy theories, I think you can't top some of the stuff they've said about JFK recently, but the FBI allegedly found 2,400 more documents to contribute to declass, further delaying the process.
Yeah.
But Pam Bondi said she's determined to make sure that all these documents are properly vetted and declassified. And a lot of them
it's not just JFK, it's RFK and Martin Luther, right?
Oh, no, those are separate commissions, but the FBI have only begun the JFK declassification.
Yeah.
But it's part of the commission into assassinations.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that they're all dragging their heels because they're all afraid when people start looking at the surnames and then going, who are these people? And then doing Google searches and finding out, wait a minute, what are these judges and doctors and lawyers? They're all these obstructionists in the last 60 years are all sons and daughters of these people who've been named in the Warren Commission. That's what they're afraid of in reality. Yeah. It's not what their parents did. It's just having their names in public is going to. They don't see. They're afraid. They don't know what their parents did. They probably never read the documents. Probably never had access to them. All they know is that their parents' names were mentioned in the Warren Commission. For all we know, they were witnesses. But people don't want to know. They want things buried. They're afraid of being talked about, yet they're not afraid of gossiping about Trump.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, last topic for the night. What do you guys know about Ashley St. Clair and Elon Musk? Like, what is the deal with this situation?
She's baby mama number 12. Isn't she, or 14?
Something like that. But apparently he had pictures of her when she was 15 in her underwear.
I don't know anything about that.
All I know is Elijah Schaefer came out and said, I'm pregnant with Elon Musk's baby. I didn't want to say this on here, but please respect my privacy.
Yeah. Elon recruited a bunch of women to have children with him. They agreed to a set amount of child support. And even at one point, Amber Heard was allegedly one of the recipients of one of Elon's little gifts.
Oh, wow.
Then she went batshit crazy and he said, never mind.
Yeah. Now, apparently, these are not what people think. He's getting these women artificially inseminated. Okay, they're going to a special clinic where they get implanted with a zygote. That's all this is what saying about the whole master race thing and all that he's engineering these proto babies or whatever. And well, see, when
yeah,
Elon,
but he's propagating the human species, unlike the WEF who wants to kill us all.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when Elon was a hippie who went around banging a bunch of chicks and got them pregnant at random, it was all like free love, baby, you know. They're just turning on him and clutching their pearls, you know. It's
it's popular is to poop on him, so
yeah, but that's what it is. It's the 2 minutes of rage, you know. Join the mob, throw rocks at people, because if you don't, you're the next target. But the problem is,
sorry for
the next
yawning
target anyway.
I am suddenly really freaking tired now.
Yeah, we're getting ready to get out of here.
Fair enough.
Google searches in DC. Have you guys heard anything about this?
Criminal lawyers.
Criminal defense lawyer, RICO law, Swiss bank, offshore bank, wire money, IBAN, statute of limitations have been a massive spike in Google searches.
Well, good news, everybody. You lifted
innocent
the
people don't search for that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Good news, everybody. You changed the statute of limitations to get Trump. Now they can do that to you.
Yeah. Careful.
You played yourselves. You're warned not to pass that law.
Yeah.
What was it? North Carolina or something said, yeah, we can sue these people. We'll just make some statute changes and do it. Fauci, you're not protect. They're talking about Fauci. Is it North Carolina or one of them is suing Fauci?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us on our Saturday night adventure.
Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody.
Don't get me demonetized now. But anyway,
you're insinuating I sing well enough that the algorithm will go, the bot will go,
maybe
copyright music.
We should be back to our regularly scheduled broadcast next week. Thank you guys for coming. Check out all the channels down below. Everybody's listed, everybody that we are affiliated with. David's channels, all that links. Lape stuff is down there. Even Anime Night, which I haven't heard from him tonight. I wonder if he's streaming with somebody else.
I think he's streaming on a.
Okay.
Doesn't he normally have something going on Saturdays?
He's got a lot of stuff going on multiple nights. I wish I had. I say I wish I did. I love that I have family life. It would be really cool and beneficial to the channel if I had some time to make videos and whatnot, but I don't. So
yeah. Understood. Yeah, I've got a whole stack of things I need to review, and finding the time has just been
it's awful. I would love to sit down and live stream video games on like Tuesday night, Monday night, whatever, but with work schedule and stuff like that, it don't happen. So
yeah,
that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So anyway, back to regularly scheduled broadcast next week. We'll be back Friday night. And hang out with us over on X, because I'm pretty active over there, sharing and tweeting and updating current events and trending news and whatnot. I honestly, I should put a video together with all the new toys I got, but I'll get around to it one of these days. I bought a turntable so that I could do toy videos, and have yet to do toy videos. So,
understood, man.
All right. Well, you guys take care. Have a good night, and see you guys next Friday night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jimbo.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. You, New World Order. You, Bill Gates.
I love you.
You gotta do better than that.
I love you.